Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of PsyTalks for Psychologists. I'm your host, Ms. Basha, Director at ICHA's Institute of Clinical Hypnosis and Related Science. Today we have our guest, Nizam, who's going to talk about CBT, which is Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. Before I begin, and everybody who's watching, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section and we'll surely answer them. I'll also ask you that if you could do a watch party so that your friends and family can benefit from it. A brief introduction about Nizam. He is a certified life coach and EFT master trainer, NLP master trainer who conducts several online and live trainings. With a strong experience of 10 years, Nizam has been instrumental in conducting trainings and coaching for people over 10 countries across various fields including software and IT, medical, psychology, counseling, sports, business, and yoga. So welcome Nizam to the fourth episode of PsyTalks with Psychologists.
Thank you, Nizam.
If you can just give us a brief introduction about yourself and then we start with our topic for today.
Yes, Ms. Basha. I'm a certified emotional freedom tactics master trainer and NLP master practitioner and trainer as well. So I have been blending different therapies into my personal sessions with the clients, and I'm really happy to be here and had been trained by you as well in the coaching process, and it's nice to be here with one of my mentors in this session.
So yes, we'll start with today's topic is cognitive hypnotic therapy, and Nizam is somebody who vastly uses it, and he's going to give us all the required information on the topic. So Nizam, can you tell us about cognitive hypnotic therapy? What is it?
Yeah, yes. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, was been in use from the past 50 years. This one, it was developed by Aaron Beck. He was a psychoanalyst earlier. Then later on, he has come up with this wonderful process. I say because it is applicable in wide variety of issues, especially you name it, depression or anxiety, right from basic issues to people with very severe emotional issues also. That's the reason most of the insurance companies in the Western countries also, they prefer more for CBT. So because of its consistent results and application worldwide.
Okay.
So
So can you brief us on what CBT is? How does it work?
yeah, see here there are certain key elements what is considered, Nizma. What we see is like there are, like, when a patient comes in, like what type of cognitive distortions a person is going through is what first understood. So what is distortion is, for example, one is like there is like something called black and white, which means they either are in this extreme or that extreme. They're not able to see the somewhere there is a moderate, like especially with the relationship issues. Either my husband is good or bad, but there can be a middle way to of them. So there's something called taking too much personally. Like even someone else is talking, they feel that no, it's about me, so taking things too personally. And there are also things of like exaggerating more than what it is. So there are various distortions a person has. And after that, there's something called rational and irrational beliefs. Like rational is like common, we have healthy beliefs, but irrational is like if I look good, then my friends might feel jealous, so let me not look good. So I was surprised, like, really, is it so? So these are all irrational beliefs, like, so when we understand a person's irrational beliefs, when we understand the distortions a person is having, and that is where we help a client to understand their thoughts, understand their beliefs, understand their behaviors, and then slowly help them with different CBT exercises to better their behavior, and also to deal with their emotions and to understand it. So that's why I even feel that CBT is not just a therapy, it's very special for me, because it is creating, or it is developing awareness of a person.
Right. So, can you name a few exercises that one commonly use in your practice while working with the clients?
Yes, there is simple exercise which I commonly use, or like most of the CBT practitioners use it, which is called thought diary, where like a person checks their different moods in different timings, how it was, and they'll keep on making a note of it. Also, there is like this is mostly given as part of homework, what we call in CBT, this one. And another is a moods chart. There is a daily chat. There is a weekly chat. Like, what is the event? There is first. Before I go into the techniques part, the first is the client is given psychoeducation. Psychoeducation means first what are the different distortions a person has, and what is the difference between rational beliefs and irrational beliefs. And there is a ABC model. So A has different names, but to simplify it to our viewers, is actual event, and C is the consequences. So we give them a chat that in what event, what has happened, how their thoughts were, emotions were, how their beliefs were. The client keeps on making a note on a day-to-day basis, and they will come back through, you know, by
Am I audible?
hello.
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So there was a lag suddenly. So these are the day-to-day exercises we give, which creates awareness in the client about their and slowly aware of their beliefs, their patterns, and this is involvement is also more in this CBT.
And what kind of application would CBT have? Am I audible? Nizam, am I audible?
Yeah, Misbah?
Yeah. So, what kind of
Yes,
applications
yes, yes. Now
would be
you are
there for
audible,
CBT?
Misbah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Applications for like, I can go on with the list, but I can give you a small example of applications part, where like people with insomnia issues, if we say like due to pandemic, or like it could be any reason, like what if I lose my job, and there are different like, let's say, anxiety of losing a job. So a person becomes aware of their thoughts, their behaviors, their emotions, and is there any proof, which like we'll be using Socratic questions. There are different disputation techniques to address it. So applications are wide, and also like people have dental phobia, like, oh my god, like what would happen, what if my dentist plucks off my tooth and all that. The CBT is there for and for various fears, phobias, And what like even CBT for children is popular, and cancer patients who are going through this very after each session they will be going through a lot of stress. So for such people there is a separate session. So it is like even for de-addiction. So CBT has like wide variety of applications, Nisma.
Okay. Okay. Sounds
Especially
good.
for chemotherapy patients, like it is suggested to go for CBT sessions also to help them to cope up with such treatment related stress and all that. So applications are very vast.
Okay. Lovely. Uh, Nizam, I'm just going to go and check online on our viewers if we have, and we'll say a quick hi to everybody.
Yeah.
So
Hi
there is,
friends.
yes, there's Maitri, there's Sham, hi, Sonali, Geeta, Jyoti, Jitendra, hi everybody, Nampi, Rajiv, hi everyone, and welcome to the episode. And we'll continue further. Um, so yes, so you've told us about the various applications of CBT. Uh,
Mhm.
what would be the importance of CBT? As in, how much do you find that it's important as a modality?
Okay. Importance. What I say is, this is like a foundation for all types of therapies, I can say. Now the CBT is an umbrella term, Misma. Under that, almost like 600 plus therapies have evolved, like acceptance and commitment therapy, and like you name it. Like now the CBT is not a generic word. CBT has become an umbrella term, and it is like anything that is evidence based and for the cognitive based which is dealing it has become very very popular. So now
Hmm.
under the name of CBT there are another many therapies are evolving based on the requirements of the people. So it is wide
Can
variety.
you
So that is
can
it.
you
Yeah.
name a few of the therapies under CBT?
Yeah, like acceptance and commitment therapy is
Hmm.
one. Like even REBT is
Okay.
also is one of the CBT therapies what we call it as. So that is like under this. There's dialectical behavioral therapy which is DBT. So the list goes on, like solution focus based therapy
Right.
SFBT. Yes.
Okay. So, any kind of key challenges that you might have come across while practicing CBT?
Yes, Misma. Like for example, uh, like when we educate client, like difference between thoughts, emotions, and behavior, people have problem in differentiating what is thought, what is behavior. And second one is here, there is something called bibliotherapy also, like where we make person read certain books based on their issues, and to educate psychoeducate them we give the complete background of how to differentiate between thought and all that behavior, emotions. So some people, not specially like not I'm not talking about special children or all that, but few adults also have learning difficulties.
Right.
For them to resonate with it uh, might have problem. And the third thing is certain clients logically understand, yes, it's my thought, it's my emotions, it's my behavior which is causing the issue. Logically they are able to understand, but when it comes to practicality it becomes a challenge for them to understand the CBT model. And third one is motivation to change, because we can guide them, but the motivation to change and their involvement is again a responsibility of the client itself.
Right. So, so if I had to ask, so these are the kind of challenges that you have said that you have
Yes,
faced while you're
yes.
in your practice. Any kind of limitations you feel that there are there with CBT?
Uh, Limitations is mostly there are certain limitations, which is my perspective again, Misbah.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So here CBT mostly focus on the current challenges of the
Mhm.
client.
Right.
Like if a person has family history, so or childhood related issues and all that, digging into so much of past is not happen. And
Mhm.
like holistic approach, maybe in such situations adding other therapies might help than just sticking to CBT. Like family
Okay.
therapy might help, or
Mhm.
the inner child work helps. But CBT is like right now, what are their beliefs, what are their emotions? Like it is mostly on the present. So that's what I feel that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure most of us will be able to connect with it because we also work with clients. So
Mhm.
there are at times the challenges that you're saying are present.
Yes.
Also, Nizam, that you had mentioned earlier, the kind of challenges that you had faced, what would you do to overcome those challenges that you mentioned earlier? When you're working with clients who has a motivation issue or are not able to differentiate between the thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, uh,
Mhm.
and the other two challenges that you talked about.
Yes,
How
yes,
would
yes.
you deal with them, or how would you respond to such clients?
Yeah, I there are a couple of best practices I have. Initially, I was like facing a lot of challenges, and then by experience we have to like necessity is the mother of invention. What I did is
Absolutely. Look
um,
at us in this time of pandemic. How much
yes,
we have
yes,
adapted ourselves to it.
so true, Misma. And what I did is I not everyone comes from a psychology background, Misma. So
Right.
in such situations it becomes my additional responsibility to help clients with examples. And I also give them emotions chat.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very good
And
idea.
yeah, so that they will see, okay, so these are the emotions and all that. And I give them certain pre-study material well before the sessions, which I learned hard way because of thanks to some challenging clients. So it's not their fault also, because they come from some business background, or someone is an engineer, someone is a software professional. So I came up with like what is difference between thought, what is difference between emotion, and what is behavior. And I created small chats where the list of emotions are there. So when they see it, oh, then they'll relate, okay, Nizam, I have these emotions, okay, these are my thoughts. So like that it is.
That's really nice working at a very ground level.
Yes,
Make
yes.
understand the basics of it. Excellent. So
It
can
is
you
very
share?
important to empathize also,
Absolutely.
because
That's I think that's the first thing that we learn while you're practicing as
yes,
a
yes,
therapist or as a coach when we are working with our clients to be empathetic,
yes, yes,
right?
Nizam.
Uh, Nizam, anything, any case study that about when you worked with your client? Can you
Yeah.
can you give us one or two case studies?
Okay. Definitely, Misma. Maybe in this pandemic, any youth who are watching this live or can refer this. There is this young software professional who resigned her job because of the issues with manager. And now, immediately after resigning, this lockdown has started. So like first is she started blaming now instead of taking responsibility. My boss was bad, I am stuck up because of my parents, my parents don't like me, and the list of things were going on. So first, even this is where I said she understood the CBT model. Okay, these are my thoughts, these are my emotions, these are my beliefs, but still my parents are bad. Still, my boss who there was a she could not understand the difference between feedback and criticism. So each feedback was misunderstood as criticism, and out of that emotional burst, she resigned her job. So I helped her to understand what is her irrational beliefs. Because my parents have given birth to me, it's their responsibility. And like you name anything, like blame the government, blame the boss, blame the parents, and all that, because her anxiety was increasing every day. So slowly, I made her to educate about how her own thoughts, how her own emotions are bothering her. So we kept like every day she started noting her thoughts, her emotions, her triggers. Slowly, after 5 to 6 sessions, she says, "No, Nizam, this is called a cognitive restructuring, Nizam, where the reframe happens of the situation."
Right.
She says, Nizam, I was not able to take feedback and I felt criticism. And then my irritation, I was more irritated with my parents and I was blaming them that they are not understanding me. And just six to seven sessions, Ms. Now she is having very peaceful sleep, and she is out of binge watching Netflix and all that stuff. And she accepted that now this is the situation to accept the pandemic. She is not alone who got impacted, and now she is honing her skills. So that was the wonderful uh, case study I wanted to discuss here, because a lot of people might be thinking about uncertainty and all that stuff and
Right.
not able to process their emotions. So this I wanted to share. Yeah, Ms. Ma.
Sure. If you have any other case studies which are very
Yeah,
interesting, you can go ahead and share
definitely.
it with us. As much as you share, it's going to be useful for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Ms. Ma, there is one more case study of a highly qualified medical doctor from Hyderabad. So he added MBBS, then he did MD, and his list of courses that he has started adding after his qualification was never ending. So he said, Nizam, I understand health. I know. Initially, we met. He attended one of my workshops. Then he said, "Do you think I have some emotional issue?" So he took some time. I said, "Let's talk and all that." So proving myself to others, anxious of proving himself to others, and out of this anxiety, because there is something called core beliefs. His core belief was, I am not good enough.
Yeah.
He did not know that. And after MBBS, MD, now, no, still I have to prove myself. And the more qualified I am, the better doctor I am. And it is never ending. So when we started working, it took a while for him. Oh my God. So his perspective changed. I need to add qualification to improve my skills, but not to prove myself to others.
Wow.
And he said, like, even if I add 10 qualifications, then I will be anxious to add 11th one.
Right.
So, and there was one more fear that he has taken loan from bank to establish his clinic. And he says, what if I fail? And what if people start spreading rumors about me that I'm a bad doctor? And what if my reputation comes? What will happen to my kids? What will happen to their future? What will happen to my career? So when we challenged his irrational beliefs, when he slowly he understood, okay, the fears he has built up, and to try to prove others. It was so much for him to handle, and it was reflecting on his health. Doctors also. So I felt, Miss, but this is not just because doctors, they are doctors, they also need
At
helpers,
the end of the
healers.
day, they are also need a human being.
Yeah, and like healers need healers. So this is where, like, working with him for around a month, he said, like, Nizam, now I want to put a full stop for this qualifications out of anxiety and his fear of what if the list was never ending. So he was now able to cope up with anxiety and all, and his sleep quality improved. So it was one more area where we think the more qualified we are, the more we can prove ourselves. But deep within, the core belief is, I'm not good enough. From there, he was operating his life. So we had to work to that level, and then he understood his. That's the wonderful shift happens with this CBT sessions, Misbah.
That's really an insightful case. So, we'll just go and check if we have some questions from the viewers. Uh, so yeah, Jyoti has asked, can CBT be practiced with children?
Yes, very well, Jyoti. CBT for children is uh, very popular also. But only thing is, we need to adjust our language accordingly, and we cannot just directly tell them, okay, what are your thoughts, what are your emotions, and all that. So the simple chats with different facial expressions are given to kids. There is this small, can I share a case study about children part,
Sure, sure,
Miss?
sure.
Yeah, in this
Sure.
context,
Yes.
there was this girl um, studying eighth class, and she she is the eldest in all the cousins also. Among the cousins also, she is the eldest. Like, everyone used to pressurize her that, no, you cannot cry, you should not cry, you should always come first. See, your all your cousins, all your siblings, everyone is following you, everyone is following you. Now, after certain stage, she could not take it, and in her dreams, she was constantly given this suggestion: you have to be good, you can't be like this, you can't be like this, you should be good, you should be good. And she was not even allowed to cry. And in her dreams, Misbah, she used to um, see her friends suffering. I was
Mhm.
saying, like, okay, who are the specific friends who are suffering? She said, when we identified, they were all the friends and her family members who made her feel angry. Then I asked her, what is happening? What is the content of the dream? Because she is told to be good, even in her dreams, she doesn't harm her whoever friends or family members, but she sees them suffering. Like, even to an extent that she sees her some of the family members burning. Yeah, it was like eighth class girl having these many things. Like, I was like, really? So we had to just check, and we worked on her thoughts and emotions, and like, what happens if you express yourself. Her problem was she could not say no. And so much we think, अरे eighth class लड़के को क्या problem होगा, but the amount of stress she was going through, slowly, after she understood, okay, what if I say no, what if everyone thinks me as a bad girl, what if my mama judges me, what if my dad judges me, what if grandpa, and what about my cousins and all that. So it took her a while, but she understood her own patterns, and slowly, whenever there is possible, she started saying no. if she wants to study and her cousins wants to play, she used to keep her studies aside and play. If she doesn't play, then they will feel bad and she will be made responsible for making her cousins bad. Oh my God. So it is then when we need to understand, to come down to their level and tell certain stories to make them
Mhm.
understand about certain examples, and then they're very good to work with, better than adults, Nishma. It is it is
I'm
really
sure
easy to work with the kids
children
more than adults. Yeah, because they are very flexible. Like when adults come, they say, no, no, I don't have any problem.
and
Or
yet they're there.
yeah,
And yet
and they
they're
are
there.
there. I know everything, but I just want to know it. Like,
I'm sure all of us have experienced that experience of having
yes,
clients
yes,
and at times being like that also.
yes.
So Shruti, I think Nizam has very well answered your question. Then somebody has asked, Nidhi has asked, can you please explain how did you apply CBT with the doctor that you talked about?
Okay, so here, how did I apply with anyone? There is the same structure. So
Okay,
here, first, it doesn't mean that. Only thing is here we need to first. The major thing is to psychoeducate. This is one of the beauty of CBT. What I liked it is first educate the clients that there are goals. There is the client has to take responsibility. It is not only the therapist who does something and clients just comes and sits and the transformation happens. No, and then we need to educate them about the rational and irrational beliefs, and their coping mechanisms are also to be made aware. Some people, to cope up with stress, they have alcohol, then binge eating, binge watching. So then in this, as part of psychoeducation, I made him educate about rational and irrational beliefs, thoughts, then how to differentiate between emotions and all that stuff. When he was alone, there is something called automatic thoughts in CBT. The concept of automatic thoughts is like there is the train of thoughts going on always, like what if I fail, what happens to my children, I have taken so much loan, what happens if one of my treatment fails and that client spreads negative publicity about me, I have invested a lot about the, so the automatic thoughts were on and on and on and on. So every day when he started capturing his automatic thoughts, every day when he became aware of his core beliefs, and once he understood it, then the practice of JPMR, like progressive relaxation of the whole body, and there were like it is not just CBT, I had to apply some mindfulness practices also. CBT is very flexible to uh, add with other therapies also. So I kind of added some elements of mindfulness whenever he has thoughts. So he's used to become aware of his thoughts and journal it. Whenever he was feeling anxious, then he was understanding his emotions, his self talk, all this stuff. It took a while, but later on, why am I doing what am I doing? Why am I thinking? All this, when it is on paper, right? You cannot lie to yourself.
you,
No, else they can say, no, I didn't say that. But when they're seeing their own inner reflections on the paper on a day-to-day basis, then it helped him to become aware. So in the initial of this session, I said CBT for me is spiritual, because the spiritual process is nothing but the more you are becoming aware of yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your behaviors, your words. Awareness is the main key. So that's how we could slowly deal with the doctor's case.
lovely. There's one more question. How do you apply CBT on his or her who is not accepted diagnosis like schizophrenia?
Huh. This is one more case. See, certain cases straight away we cannot apply CBT. As I said, one of the challenges is the person should be able to receive, like psychoeducation is part of it. So a
Right.
person who is hallucinating and all that, they're not in touch with reality. So, first, psychiatric intervention is required. After that, once the person is under medication, and slowly, once the patient is getting receptive to therapy, then uh, most of the psychiatrists I know refer CBT as a therapy. In such situations, slowly CBT can be introduced. But
Okay.
straight away, CBT cannot be used as a direct therapy. They
Yeah.
need medical intervention for sure.
Yes. So we basically with psychosis issues directly you don't apply
Yes,
CBT.
yes. One person should be at least in their senses to receive the information and should be able to understand the process.
Sure. Lovely. Thank you for the lovely explanation, Nizam. I think that somebody has also asked, are there any ways to learn CBT techniques?
Are there any ways to straight away enroll into a workshop? So that
Yes.
because what I suggest is friends, like you as much as possible learn from a clinical psychologist or a practicing psychologist, and then afterwards you can implement it. So you will get to know more case studies, you'll get to know understanding, and of course Aaron Beck's books are amazing, but to do at least a training in the CBT will be amazing. That will help.
Yeah. So somebody has asked Nizam that I think Nampi has asked, can CBT, and I have already I think questioned you on that. Can CBT be used for psychotic patients? So please tell us about it.
Yes, same answer, like similar to
Same answer.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it would be the same explanation, Nampi. That first they need to go through the psychiatric treatment, and once they
yes,
are in a more homeostatic state, then is when they can start taking up therapy.
yes,
Right, Nizam?
exactly. Yes, yes, Nisma.
Okay. So Harshita is asking, do we need certain certification to apply for CBT? And
Uh, Again, a subjective question, but what I'm suggesting is if a person is properly trained, then it will be very useful to understand, because without formal training, if we try to help it might not be so useful. So I
yes,
highly recommend anyone who is willing to apply CBT, it's very much required that one has to go through a formal training.
right. So any kind of practices that you want, modality that one wants to practice, you
Yes,
go
yes,
through proper training for it and
yes,
then go ahead and use those modalities.
yes, because client
Uh,
safety is very important, and
Absolutely. And
formal
that's
training is very important. Yeah.
yes, and that's our responsibility as a psychologist or as a therapist or as a trainer for that matter. Uh, that we
True.
know what we are going to do.
Yes, yes.
Right. Nizam, somebody's asked, I think Neha has asked, how do you apply CBT with somebody who's been molested?
Okay. Yes. Trauma, molestation, abuse. CBT helps in how we can say is certain people go into denial mode, and there are certain distortions also. We need to, there is a lot of process that goes, it is not straight away, because first a bit of counseling, then slowly making them understand that um, they were not the reason for whatever has happened, because some people have got into because of me only this everything has happened. So even even the situation is severe, it is important to address their irrationalities, and slowly to make them aware of their emotions, about their thoughts, and helping them to cope up. There is, like, desensitization process, there is some mindfulness process and all that. So this is where, friends, like, why I said is different trainings always help us to handle such situations. And here I just want to tell one case where a lady was molested by her father, and when she shared with her mother did not believe, and her paternal uncle also molested her. But she was feeling angry that why my mother is not believing when I'm sharing it. So this woman started hatred towards men so much that even her son comes to near her, she feels uncomfortable. It triggers her. And like all men are like this, there are certain conclusions and all that. She has very difficult marital life. She has to suppress lot of emotions, and no, I don't have my voice of my own. All men are like this. That's how it is. A woman has to live like that. So we had to make her, I have to make her go through that, like, to understand thoughts and processes. And every day she used to journal and mindfulness practices, like whatever has happened in her childhood she had to release. Now she has become comfortable with her son. She understood that she needed personal help, professional help, when she identified that she has problem even when her son is coming near to her. So yes, it is helpful, but it has to be addressed very gently. And but CBT does help in severe emotional issues also.
Lovely. Let me check if we have somebody. I think somebody's asked that can CBT be used with addicted persons, and you can share some examples.
Yeah, addiction and CBT. There's a total different application of it. So here also again, like, what happens exactly before a person is about to consume alcohol, like the people, the triggers, the situations, and what are the pros and cons why a person is having what they are having. So we educate people on adaptive and maladaptive behaviors also, like, is it whatever that, like, there was this funny case study I came across when an alcoholic was asked by a CBT practitioner what are the benefits, what are the pros and cons for you, and why are you taking alcohol. He said uh, more financial freedom, less tension in the work. So in what way is the financial freedom? We don't know, like, they'll come up with so many reasons. To beat the stress in the office, then one has to drink. And to get promotion, I have to drink. If I don't drink, I don't belong to a batch of or group of
Right.
people. So I'll be left alone, fear of missing out and all that. So yes, CBT is very much useful in the addiction process. But again, they might have to have other therapists also, or some might need people with substance abuse also, like, then they might have to undergo certain psychiatric intervention also, like, or like withdrawal symptoms and all that. So CBT can be blended with any therapy. So
Mhm.
that's the beauty of it. For addictions, yes, CBT can be applied.
Interesting. Um, Abha has asked that can CBT be applied in case of marital discord where one partner is not willing to compromise on any issues?
Okay.
That's an
Again,
interesting question.
here also, one is, of course, no therapy in the world or coaching is about how to change others. But here it helps like personal issues where a person is going through because of the life partner can be addressed, but whether to stay in that relationship or move out is again a choice.
Yes,
But
got it.
here, yeah, like some people say like I deserve this punishment by my husband. There are certain irrational beliefs again. Maybe see, I deserve because I might have done something wrong in my past lives, so I got this type of husband, so I deserve this punishment. I can't do much and all that. So this type of cases can be helped, but no therapy will help you on how to change others. Like some people come and ask me, Nizam, can you help me on how to change my mother-in-law? I wish I know that technique, but it is not possible. I'll be the richest
Okay.
coach in the planet Earth if I know how to change mother-in-law. So no.
Right. The only person I think we can change is ourselves.
Yes, yes.
But I'm sure Abba that helps. So, do you have any personal, how personal experience of yours where CBT has helped you to, has benefited you?
Yeah.
Could share some experience.
Okay. Now let me reveal some secrets about me.
Secrets.
Yes, yes. So, Misbah, what happened is like when I started working with the clients, I was thinking like every client I work with should be transformed. I was like this, like, and then sometimes, like, within one session, there was like I had this burden of I have to transform lives. There's like, whatever might be the case, any case comes to me, I should not be able to say no. I should. So in the cognitive distortions, this should and must is also one
Sure.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
My should and must list was so strong that I should be able to. Then when I became flexible, like certain cases I have to cross reference to another uh, persons, like there was this case where I could not, like I felt one boy from Maharashtra, my Urdu is Hyderabadi Urdu. His Hindi was a
Yeah.
mixed with Marathi Hindi, and he could not understand my Urdu, and there was a language problem, and the language is the main thing. So I felt no, this
Absolutely.
case, yeah, this case I cannot. So I spoke to his parents and suggested them to take to a local therapist. So like this, once the flexibility comes, it is not that always I should, I must. So when I started understanding, okay, it's okay to, like,
It's
it
okay.
is not to be about the perfectionism is not uh, needed. Sometimes some sessions I might have to just listen and be with the client, because they want to speak, they want to be heard, and I did not understand it initially. Oh my god, I did not apply any technique, there was no, I didn't do anything, and I understood it's okay that I can hold this space and just listen and be with the client. So like, then slowly my own emotions, like, oh my god, what if the client thinks about me that I did not do something, aha, there was no aha moment in today's session. Not all the sessions will have aha moments. Sometimes it's just holding the space. So personal level, in my professionally and personally, it really helps me to uh, understand my own distortion, my own irrational beliefs, and my own behaviors. So, it is very common to be common, Misbah. So it's
Yes,
fine. Yeah.
it's it's absolutely
Yes.
lovely.
You need not be a
Uh,
superhuman.
so, I mean, there's nothing to be superhuman. You are a superhuman by yourself, I think, as a person that you are. I mean, that's what I feel. Um, so, in what kind of cases would you recommend CBT as an out and out?
Like, see, as I said, Misbah, almost CBT can be applied everywhere. It could be with the kids, with the addiction cases, with the marital issues, or with the even for the goal setting. It is not just because a person has some emotional issues, they should only undergo CBT sessions. No, it is very much like someone wants to understand their current resources and how to set goals there also. Only place where a person is not in a position to understand, like schizophrenia is one such case, like
Mm,
various delusional cases and all that stuff, except that, because where
mm,
uh, psychiatric intervention is the main thing where it is needed. Except
right.
certain exceptions, I can say that CBT is effective in almost most of the emotional issues.
Lovely. Nizam, I think somebody's asked, taking someone else for therapy when the person is not willing much is of no use. We can work with ourselves. Right. Somebody's asked that if you could give some tips or to reduce or totally avoid alcohol addiction.
Tips on avoiding
Avoiding or
alcohol
reducing
addiction.
alcohol addiction.
Okay. First of all, like any addiction case, the first thing is we have to see there are there is something called psychological reversal or secondary gains. Deep inside, a person is very, very comfortable with the de-addiction part. And first thing is to identify what is the void a person is trying to fill it with an addiction. The more, say, any therapy helps, and it results when awareness levels are increasing. So why am I doing what am I doing, the reasons behind addiction, to avoid feeling anxious or to feel good, or like what is that a person is trying to fill this addiction with. Once it is understood, then that is one thing. Second is our Robin Sharma says, tell me about your five friends, I'll tell you about you. So, in the same way, like people with whom we hang out who are also addicts, such people, if we could reduce hanging out with such people, and also becoming aware that, like, say, every day a person has alcohol at 5 o'clock. Between 4:30 to 5, what is happening with, if they are like, what is the urge, what kind of emotions they have and all that. So they can reduce. I am not saying that just by becoming aware and all that stuff it will be
Yeah.
reduced. They definitely need it, but small tips to become aware can help.
And I'm sure that they can visit a therapist. That's the
Yes,
best thing
yes,
if they need a proper help and professional help.
yes.
Lovely. So there is somebody who's asked, he has asked something. Also, being a therapist, do you seek help to cope up with the stresses of clients' concern?
Sorry, I didn't get the question, Misma.
I will repeat the question again. So, Kirti has asked that as a therapist, do you seek help to cope up with the stresses of the client's concerns?
Yes, I am under supervision and I have my own mentors to help me with my things. Yes.
Maitri asked, where can you get you can learn training of CBT, practicing
In any city you are, please, we have event listing websites, like even Facebook. There are so many groups dedicatedly for psychology students and all that. So we can definitely find the events these days. Thanks to pandemic, like most of the
CBT.
sessions are available online. So
Right,
join some psychology groups in Facebook, and
right.
definitely all these events will be listed.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, Nizam, Nino has asked, can you combine NLP and CBT?
Okay, why not? So NLP is my one of my favorite subjects. So here NLP helps you to change the beliefs. NLP helps in helping clients to change their words. NLP helps like how their self-image is carried, especially with there is something called logical levels in NLP. So in like above the pyramid, there is identity level. So identity level is like I am alcoholic is different from I have a habit of having alcohol. So NLP helps in changing identity of a person as well. So NLP is wonderful tool. So you can very much blend NLP and CBT.
Lovely. Um, I think we are through. I also have one of the questions. I'm just going to read it. Let me just check. Somebody's asked about the limitations of CBT, but I think we've already discussed those
Yeah,
limitations
yeah,
earlier. If you
yes.
could just quickly in a line or two give us the limitations again, I think the person
Yeah,
might have
same
joined us
thing.
late.
Sure. Like a person should be in a position to understand, or when we are psychoeducating the person, he or she should be able to understand it. And there is also like, as CBT focuses mostly on the current issues like childhood or family history, like where a person might need family therapy or other therapies. That is one more is, and to commit to the whole session series and motivate to do all the exercises to become aware of, because CBT involves the client. So if the client is not enough motivated, then it becomes very challenging for the therapist also to use this CBT. And one major challenge, what I said is, mentally the client is able to understand the CBT process, but when it comes to implementation part, practicality, they will find it challenging. So there are certain things what I said.
Lovely. So yes, we are coming to an end of this session, and it was lovely having you, Nizam, and it was lovely answering all the questions that everybody had that you answered. Thank you so much, Nizam, for coming, and
And thank you, Ms.
thank you,
I
everybody.
never knew that one of my mentors will be. I'll having interview with my own one of my mentors to also play a major role in the success of
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's really something very new for me, and I'm enjoying doing it, hosting a web series, webinars. And so I'd like to thank everybody who's been watching and who's been very actively participating in the web series. I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Also, thank you once again, all of you, and thank you, Nizam, for having
thank you.
coming here and answering all our questions, and all of you have been a wonderful audience. And just before I exit, a quick reminder that the True Talk series for therapists bonus episodes are going on, so do catch up with Mamta and Nitin live today at 10 p.m. India time, and today's topic that they have is irrational beliefs. In case any of you need further questions or queries that you have, or details that you need, you can visit our website www.ichas.com, And see you all tomorrow at the same time, 4 o'clock, in the episode counseling. Thank you.